Welcome, everybody. Today it's going to be very different. I've been thinking about writing. The history is this. My father wrote about his life because when Hitler came, he decided that he knew nothing about his parents and that he was going to make his children know his life story. And then when Hitler came and my mother realized that most of her family was killed, she began to write about her childhood and the people she once lived with. And I am living at a time where I always wrote. It was more important than doing artwork because you could write what you felt at the moment. So I know stories about things, and I know that my children and grandchildren might never know about my world because writing has disappeared. We do short notes, we do email, we don't write anymore. And since I do, I would like to encourage you to give your children and the rest of the world a knowledge of who we are. So I took some of my writing, and Kenny and I are going to read some of it. Tell me when I should begin.
You should begin in a minute, but let me just say that our dear Eileen and Paula, who came to visit us, are watching. And Paula says, "Hi, everyone."
I love it.
Heart. We love you, Paula and Eileen.
Okay. This was written in 1947 and 1948. And I would like to tell you what I wrote, because if I wouldn't have written it, I wouldn't have remembered, not the details. And when I get tired, Kenny begins.
As soon as you want me to.
After graduating high school, I was to go to Chicago to attend the American Academy of Art. This was such an exciting experience because America itself was the dream come true. The ocean trip was exciting. The people I met were exciting. Taking the train was exciting. But looking out of the train windows was a culture shock. Where was the world of glamour, of shiny buildings, of the beauty which magazine issues had led me to expect? Ugly factories and smokestacks, old empty buildings and billboards showing pictures of the products which were glossy and beautiful, made in these ugly, shabby factories. But this was only part of the realities which confronted me. The people were another culture shock. Kenny?
Hopefully everybody can hear me. Could you let me know if you could hear me? Folks, if somebody could just let me know if you can hear me. Just send a text. Send a message. Okay, you know what I'm going to do, because I don't know if they can hear me. I'm going to steal the microphone from you, and then I will give it back to you. Here, got it. Okay, I'm stealing it, and then when you want to take over reading, just let me know, and I'll give it back to you. Okay.
Second paragraph.
After we escaped Vienna in 1938, the people I met until 1947 were of all colors. My first best friend was Chinese. Most Panamanians were different shades of brown. Our family doctor was black. Prejudice based on color did exist, but except for a few American servicemen, I never saw any black American citizens. The Americans I met were always white. They worked and lived in what to me seemed like real luxury. Their lives were so different from those of the rest of us. Private clubhouses, free education, private swimming pools and golf courses and commissaries and wonderful medical care. None seemed to have financial issues. And so, when I saw the poverty from the train windows as we passed through American cities, I remembered the many books I had read about America, and I realized I had created my own realities out of wishful thinking. The segregation of black people was the largest culture shock. I realized that by having white skin, I would be allowed privileges denied to others. My childhood, in the 6 months of being a Jew during the Hitler regime, had given me the knowledge that I could not remain in a country where I was part of segregation. And so I decided to go to Israel. It was difficult to convince my parents because there was no peace in Israel and they feared for my safety. So the mail went back and forth from Panama and Chicago, and I stayed in art school. But I joined Hechalutz Hatzair, a group led by Israelis to train us for living in farming settlements. The land had been arid and unused, and groups like these were settlers who were willing to work and farm it. I loved it. These were people who were creating a new world. Men and women had equal value. Work was equally shared, and we respected each other's pasts. Some were Holocaust survivors, but everyone had lost family members there. And that is where Eric and I met. We were spending the summer in Camp Ein Harod, and Eric was learning how to build bungalows, and I was teaching children and cleaning toilets. And we were learning the credo that all work is honorable, but has to be done to perfection. We began to go on long walks. We learned we had the same aims for the future. When I went back to Chicago in September, our correspondence became serious. And we knew that we needed to share each other's lives. Eric came to Chicago in December, and we were married on December 31st, 1948. Should I keep reading, or do you want to finish? You want me to finish? Okay. We went for our long-delayed honeymoon a few months later. We had an old car, which we had named Chaim Yankel, and we knew it was not going to be good for long-distance trips. We stopped in a small town in Virginia in order to eat, and we sat at a lunch counter. All the other seats were empty, but we noticed many black people standing in back. Eric asked the young men behind the counter where they were standing when there were so many empty seats. The man said, "But they're black." And he noted our puzzled looks, adding, "They can't sit next to white people here." Eric said, "Can they go somewhere where they could sit down to eat, if not here? This is the only place in the town where they can get food." Eric looked at me and he said, "Let's get the hell out of here and go back to New York." So we knew, sorry folks, so we knew we could not stay in America. Our feelings changed drastically as we watched the changes taking place around us. In New York City, children of all colors, religions, nationalities sat next to each other in public schools, and barriers were broken. When the 60s arrived, much of the prevailing barriers had been ripped down by those children who were now young adults. We had seen this country become the country we now loved and admired. When Martin Luther King marched, he was followed by people of different colors, religions, and ideals as well. I am writing this now, as the world is going through turmoil. This is how human history has always been. People wish for the good old times, yet those who wish with those words need to add the good old times for some. When some are feeling safe, others are not. Oh, right. I have to give Hetty the mic back.
Because of Kenny, I've been doing a lot of meditating. The way Kenny meditates, and what I have learned from him, I look at the universe and I ask questions. And as I ask about unfairness, the world answers me and says, we're not done yet. We're in the middle of evolving. Give me time. Help us. And so I don't harshly judge anymore as I used to. I wait and see whom I can help. I would like to ask all of you, begin to write. Make a record of what you are living through right now. Let the record be for the future people. Let them know never to give up, but to feel that they are part of those who create the universe. Because that's the truth. How I act to my neighbor is how my neighbor will feel, and will go to the next person, and back and forth. The more poison we spread, the more we get infected. The more love we spread, the more we get soothed. Let our generation be like it was in the 60s. During the 60s, we came up with the Peace Corps. Martin Luther King, hippies, a whole world of saying no more. Peace in our time. And I look right now at people like my son, who was a definite hippie once. And look, he's a respectable, well-dressed psychotherapist. And could that generation rise up again? Not as hippies, but as peace lovers. They are now in their 60s, their 70s. Let's use them. Let them rise up and form a level of peace. Kenny, would you take over?
I'll read some comments. That was absolutely amazing.
Read the comments.
Wow. Joe Tripp is here. Joe says, hello, everyone. Danielle says, making me cry. And then Eileen gives a thumbs up on that, too.
Kenny?
Oh, no, I think it's okay. I think, can people hear me? Maybe not. Okay.
We're moving the telephone back and forth.
So, yes. So Danielle Grew says, making me cry. And Eileen gives a thumbs up on that. Don't get me started again. Julie says, Kenny, we are all choked up right along with you. Amazing writing. And Joe Tripp says that was profound writing. Thank you. Eileen was saying that they can hear me without my using this mic. So I'm giving it back to you. And Martha says beautiful writing and reading. That mic is yours. They can hear me. And Julie says fantastic advice that everyone should leave some form of memoir or a record of their life in writing. My mom has written many poems and also moving vignettes about her difficult childhood in a foster family. And her writing means the world to us. And Dina says, I love your empathy, knowing about where you came from and seeing this. That is why you are so loving and accepting to all. Now, do you want to speak more, or do you want to show the sketches?
I'll let you show the sketches.
Sure.
Because you've got the machine.
We picked an interesting sketchbook for today.
It's in New York, when we lived near Fort Tryon Park.
Right, yes. This is Hetty's sketchbook when she was in her 20s. And her art is so different.
Fort Tryon.
Fort Tryon Park, 1953. 72 years ago, if my math is right, which it often is not. No, it's perfect, Grandma, just like this. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes. 72 years ago.
And if they send us writing, we will read it out.
Oh, Hetty says, if you send us your writing, we will read it.
Like the world of the future.
This is how Hetty drew when she was in her 20s. I think this is Joni.
Wait, is it upside down?
No, it's
The
right.
pictures.
No, this one is right, the one that I'm holding, which I shouldn't be having my fingers on the art.
And
Okay.
Joni is in back.
Oh, yes? So different than her work now.
Kitty?
No, it's okay. It's really okay. Let's move that, because then people see that. I think I'm fine. I can hold it. I don't mind holding it. That's this one. Oh. Her people in park benches. What's this? It was for an illustration? Were you doing illustration?
Yes. I wanted to be an illustrator.
Ah.
of children's books.
I love the open mouths. Now, was this Joni? I think this must have been Joni.
Could have been you.
No, I wasn't born yet. That's Joni.
Then it could not have been you.
Right. Oh.
It's not mine.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Well, then I'm not going to show it. This is Eric sleeping.
And next week we'll talk about Eric.
And when you talk about him, I will show pictures of the two of them from that time in their lives. Let's see. Oh gosh, lots of stuff here. Okay, yeah. Let me just prop this up a little. There, prop you up a little. Okay, so lots of comments. Lee says, this has been a beautiful, evocative evening. Dina says, sketch time, yay! And Megan Campbell-Forsina says, hi, Hetty. And Paula says, you both fill us with such joy and hope. So sweet. And Dina says, amazing. Did your mom and dad and Richie Sambora know that you could draw when you were very young? Hernan said, can't hear you anymore, Ken. Dina said, I hope you all can hear me. Let me know if you can't hear me. Dina said, oops, brother Richie, not Richie Sambora, who I think was a rock star. So, Hetty, they're asking you, did your mom and dad and Richie know that you could draw when you were really young?
Yes.
Even when you were really little?
Yes, because I had a teacher who insisted that we should constantly draw, use it like a language, and never copy. So it was natural. She believed that drawing should be part of teaching, not by telling you what to draw, but to have you just do it until you became an artist on your own.
Beautiful.
And I firmly believe in that.
And Julie says, wow, blast from the past. Especially love the tree sketches. Precursors to the tree you painted during the pandemic. And Eddie Weedman says, I was going to say, Hetty hung with Sambora, meaning that rock star, and Eddie is a celebrity photographer. So, Eddie, you probably did hang with Sambora. Am I right? Did you? And Marcia says, love, love, love your sketches. Thanks for sharing. And Dory says, who knew you were a Bon Jovi fan? Eileen says, amazing drawings. Megan says, I adore the baby sketches. And Julie says, oh, I love the people on park benches and the kid sticking her tongue out. Ha!
I had a wonderful day today. I had a lot of company, and every person is so different from everybody else. I want to hear about each one of you, who you are. Let's stop being the image that we want to be. Let's be the image we really are. Thank you. I love you all.